Welcome back to Dariusburst Chronicle Saviours. Today we are on the webpage darius.jp because clearly there's things about this game that I do not fully understand yet. So let's take a look at a few things like the world, one particular mode that we have been playing, the system of the game, and the characters we have so far encountered. Let's start with the world. I wasn't sure if I should show this off because I wasn't sure if it would come up in-game. But I guess if I've seen it, there's no reason for you to not have seen it. Here is the Darius chronology. Starting in the Amnelian year 626. The Femur invade the planet Amnelias. The Silverhawk fighter is born, and the Femur are defeated. And the planet Darius is discovered. Then, living on Darius, in the year 201, the Belzer attack Darius. So these are our fish friends now. They are repelled, however. Darius becomes a dead planet. Humanity begins immigrating to the planets Orga and Vades. Darius year 1642. Some of those who immigrated to Vades begin to return to Darius, even though it is a dead planet. Darius year 1813. The Belzer attack the descendants of those who immigrated from Darius to the solar system. The people of Orga receive a distress signal and stage a rescue mission. Darius year 1904. The Belzer attack Darius, which had been revived by those who returned from Vades. New Silverhawks equipped with the burst system launch a counter-offensive. And then in the Darius year 1910, mankind's greatest counter-strike against the Belzer army begins. We have been floundering somewhere between these two places, I think. Or possibly even earlier, because sometimes we did not have the burst system yet. There's nothing else here on the world page. So let's take a look at mode. In particular, the mode we are playing, CS mode. And here is the thing that I have been wanting to see all this time and somehow did not see. A screenshot that explains everything on the screen. In the middle we have the current zone, makes sense. Then this number, which I completely did not understand, is the score rate. So I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. I thought it was related to the blue and the shields, but no. The reason why it was going down when I got hit is, I guess, because you get less score when you get hit, which makes sense. Or you get more score if you live long. Then we have the power-up levels, which are explained in more detail later. Then the burst gauge, which is obvious. Remaining arms, which is our shields. Remaining lives, which is also obvious, and the score. So it really was just the score rate that confused me immensely. But I also really want to have an explanation for these three, which we will get shortly. Then we have the area selection, which I essentially explained in the first one, but let's see if I missed anyone. Use the directional controls to select a route to play. Ships you can select, mission modes, and the rules all vary by area. The game route may fork depending on the area. And this is already an explanation we did not have in-game. I did note the different symbols we saw once when we had a defender mission, but okay. Original. Complete the zone and do battle with a massive battleship. Area name, preset ship name, and rules. Makes sense. Amount of zones also makes sense. I understood all that correctly. Defender as a defense gauge and remaining wave time. So it's not a time for the whole stage. Protect your allies from the waves of enemy attacks. You can fail this mode if defense gauge on the left side of the screen reaches 0, or if you run out of lives. If an enemy ship touches the defense gauge, it will lose a certain amount of energy, depending on the size of the enemy ship. If the wave reaches 0, the damage each enemy does to the gauge will be boosted. Oh, so the size of the enemies matters. Then we have not seen Scramble. In this mode you will be timed until you complete the area. If you get hit or get shot down, time will be added to the clock as a penalty. I see. Then we have the ship selection. Move left and right to choose between preset or select your ship. Preset ships come with preset items. The preset ships and items differ by area. Settings. If you choose Select on the ship selection screen, you will move to the settings screen. Scroll up and down to select settings for your ship. You can also move right and left to change the details of each settings. Points are necessary to purchase settings. So did also understand that completely. Battle begins. Here you will control your ship and defeat enemies. Makes sense. Zone complete also makes sense. Battle ends. All makes sense. Next, system. Very important. What do item do? Red items, 1 additional shot level gauge. Green item, 1 additional bomb level gauge. Blue item, 1 additional arm level gauge. Gold item, annihilates all enemies on screen. We have not had a gold item yet, I think. And silver is just score. I had a feeling. When you defeat certain enemies, items that enhance the Silverhawk's burst abilities will appear. Now what do these do, the red, green and blue? The Silverhawk burst is equipped with shots. The frontier is amazing. Air to air, bomb, air to ground, and arm, barriers, which can be enhanced with special items. Acquiring 1 item will add 1 additional gauge to 1 power up level, while acquiring 5 boosts the power up by 1 level. When this happens, the icon for the weapon will change. We have seen different icons on the presets, so I guess they were more powered up already. Level 1 is missile for the shot level. The initial shot equipment, which fires missiles. It can dissipate certain types of enemy fire. Laser, a laser that cuts through enemies. It can also dissipate certain types of enemy fire. And wave, fires a wave that cuts through enemies and obstacles. So level 3 is piercing. So that's very good. Surprisingly, it's not the laser that's piercing. Bomb level. Single bomb, the initial bomb equipment, which can fire bombs downwards from the front of the ship. Twin bomb fires 2 bombs upwards and downwards from the front of the ship. And multi-bomb fires 4 bombs upward and downward from both the front and the back of the ship. Is this the same for every ship then? Or every shot type then? And arms, or barriers, boost the ship durability. Initially the durability is boosted by 3, then by 1 with each additional item acquired. We noticed that last time, or I noticed that last time. Level 2, Super Arm, boosts the ship durability. Initially the durability is boosted by 3, then by 1. And Hyper Arm, boosts the ship durability and protects it from collision with the environment. Oh, that's good to know. About burst. Holding the burst button uses some of the burst gauge in order to fire the burst beam. Burst, burst, burst. The Silverhawk burst's most powerful weapon. The gauge can be recharged by attacking enemies, connecting with lasers and dissipating enemy bullets. I noticed that shooting bullets recharged my bar faster, yes. How to use the burst, either with the beam or the fixed burst. Hold down the burst button to fire a powerful burst beam from the front. When you release the button... Oh, this is for Legend, Next and Formula. So it explains the shot type. Explains the different bursts for the different shot types here. So Legend and Next are something we have seen before. And Formula is the same. Hold down the burst button to fire a powerful burst beam to the front. When you release the button, the burst beam will deactivate. In addition to destroying enemies, it can dissipate all enemy bullets. The downside is that it uses a lot of burst gauge energy. Fixed burst. Press the burst button twice quickly, or press the fixed burst button to lock the burst pad that fires the beam. In addition to destroying enemies, it can dissipate almost all enemy bullets. It uses less burst gauge energy than a normal burst beam and can last for a longer amount of time. Hold down the shot button during a fixed burst to lock its direction. Or you can have it shoot on an angle. When you release the shot button, the burst beam's nozzle will rotate. The direction of the beam is affected by the positioning of the burst pad in relation to your ship. For Legend and Formula, it will be reverse of your ship direction. For Next, it will be the same direction your ship is facing. If you hold down the shot button again after changing direction, you can lock the direction of the beam. If you press the burst button again or run out of burst gauge, the fixed burst will deactivate. Interesting. And burst counter we encountered. If you activate your burst at the same time as an enemy's burst, while in the path of their beam, it will fire a powerful counter beam. You can also activate counter beams from other directions with the correct timing, firing your burst just as the enemy. Burst hits your ship is the key. Assault has the spark burst. We have not seen that yet, but let's read about it, I guess. Press the burst button once to fire a spark burst. The spark burst continues moving forward as it destroys enemy and bullets. Once the burst gauge runs out, the spark burst will disappear. Burst finish. Press the burst button again while firing a spark burst to unleash a burst finish. Black Hole Bomb by Gaiden. I know that one well. Press the burst button once when the burst gauge turns yellow to use up the entire burst gauge and fire a black hole bomb, which screams at you. The black hole bomb is a powerful attack that sucks up enemies and bullets. So this is a literal bomb. The literal bomb we know from Darius Gaiden. Then we have Genesis, which has the Alpha Burst Beam. When you have two support units, hold down the burst button to prepare for a burst. When you release the burst button, you will fire an Alpha Burst Beam until the burst gauge runs out. Hitting an enemy's burst beam with your Alpha Burst Beam, you can easily activate a burst counter. The longer you counter an enemy burst beam, the more powerful the Alpha Burst Beam becomes. This is the last thing we used, right? So I guess it's easier to counter burst with this Alpha Burst Beam. So maybe it's not gonna be as easy with the other shot types. So I guess we were lucky we had that ship or that boss rush. Here's the characters. We have seen Legend, Next, Origin, Second, and Genesis, I think. Legend, Silverhawk Burst. Unit 1 Legend for short, inherited the form of the legendary Silverhawk. The addition of the burst system gave it unrivaled attack power. Legend was designed to perform very IG battle maneuvers, making human piloting impossible. It must be piloted by an AI instead. Legend has a very good balance of attack and defense and can easily be recommended to anyone. With no weakness, it can shine on any battlefield. And then we have the explanations of the bursts again. Next we have Next. Unit 2 Next for short. Unlike Legend, Next has a human pilot. Next is primarily designed to protect and lessen the burden of the pilot, so it is very different from Unit 1. It's also equipped with an auto-guided bomb. Next has characteristics similar to Legend. The burst weapon is significantly different. Right. It looks the same. Formula. which I don't think we've met yet. Unit 3 Formula for short is a ship specialized for short range combat. It does not have long range attacks. This is gonna be interesting. Its form is very different from the historical Silverhawks. When it's equipped with the burst system, the mysterious craft also includes technology unknown to mankind. Formula is specialized for short-range combat, having no long-range attacks. It needs to keep close to enemies and is a ship for veterans. The burst attack is similar to Legend. Origin. Origin for short. Origin Silverhawk, Origin for short. The ship that has protected the people of Darius. Since it is not equipped with a burst system, it cannot use the burst beam. Origin has a strong attack, but is deprived of the burst weapon, recommended to all the fans of the Darius games. No burst. Second Silverhawk, or second for short. A Silverhawk reinforced with technology from Orga. Its form is identical to Origin. It does not have a burst, but it has stronger shot and its laser can shoot through obstacles. Right, I think when we got to play as second, I said it looked very fun to use. Gaiden Silverhawk, Gaiden for short. A Silverhawk reinforced by the people of Vades. Its form is identical to Origin. It has no burst, but shoots a black hole bomb instead. So this is the only one with a traditional bomb. Assault Silverhawk Burst, Assault for short. Completely different from other burst ships. It is equipped with the all-new Spark Burst. Continuing the concept of Next, it was designed with ease of use and pilot survival as its first priorities. Spark Burst is very easy to shoot, but getting a high score with it is complex. Mastering the burst finish is necessary. So this is the one that does this weird thing, which I guess I'll only really understand when I use it. I'm assuming it shoots this forward and then it explodes when I let go. And finally, Genesis Silverhawk. Genesis for short, a legendary craft developed on planet Amnelia. Its form is identical to Origin. Not a perfect reproduction of the original craft's strength, it is equipped with new support unit and an alpha burst beam. So this was our final friend we met. Note though that these are 8 ships and we have a selection of 9. So one of them is missing. Here in the character select or character introduction screen. But good. We've learned some new things, and essentially we did not miss too much, I think. So let's move on to the game and see if we can do any better now that we have some better understanding. And we are back in the game. So let's hope things go better than here in Boginsu last time. Darius year 1905, February. The Murakumo, created with tech from our homeworld, is ready for its first combat mission following successful trials. Destroy all enemies. In Pinea, we are using the Murakumo, which I think is exactly the one that was not explained on the main page just now. Yeah, exactly. I guess it might be the newest one. And again, it is 1904. Yeah. It might be the newest one. Let's see how this one plays. We have 15 barriers. Fun sounds. Now, commencing mission. Savior 1. Roger that. What kind of bursts do we have? Oh, that's switching sides, which will forever be. Well, it seems our burst is quite irregular. Not something we haven't seen before. Also, very good music in this area. I'm glad we're back to stages. After the boss rush from last time. Do I have to change buttons so that I don't always switch when I want to go? Hard wheel! Oh, I'm so scared of hard wheel. Truly, the most scary enemy we have ever encountered. Well, I can use my burst a lot. That much I have understood. I can either shoot for long, or let go at some point and shoot a charge attack. The new Murakumo is a hybrid ship fusing the Genesis control system and the next burst engine. Ah, so this is the burst that we used with next then. How's the new ship? Not sure yet, but not bad so far. Yeah, getting the cutting edge unit for it. I won't let a good will go to waste. I guess the reason why they didn't explain it on the main pages, because it is new to this game. I see something invisible. Oh yeah, I really am switching badly. Also this eel is troublesome. I'm just eating all the shield's field damage. I may have been expected to burst more here. Here comes Brightly Stare. A different stare from last time, but how different? It still has mines. Well, it's upside down. Surely, that's a huge difference. And it doesn't have lasers during this attack, which makes it a lot easier to deal with. Now, can I counter the burst? Yes. That was a lot less trouble. We're going up. We are surrounded. Oh, we've seen this stage before as well. Those jellyfish things take forever to kill. Also, no, I don't think we have done this before. Feel like I would remember. Definitely doing this perfectly. Well, goodbye, power up. Or can I sneak it here? No. Kirby lasers. Well, I got blown up. I think it might have stopped being easy. More shields, please. Oh, good. Regular enemies with burst weaponry. I might die here. It's 1,000 knives! No bullets this time. Which I also think is an easier version. If I remember my history on this series enough. Yeah, it doesn't have all the lasers and stuff. And also I have piercing weaponry now, I think. You tried to use your big laser and didn't really. Well, you still... Okay, you still have that stuff. I might still die. Depending on how much of a bullet sponge it decides to be. I thought it exploded, but no. Now it exploded. Not the most beautiful display of playing, but it worked out. After successfully reclaiming this sector, our squad was rewarded with burst engine ships for our service. And the mission is complete. Now we're going down. Still going back in time though. And now let's get scared again, because we are doing tiny missions. Also, we get to play as Gaiden. This isn't another boss rush, is it? The last 3 are definitely bosses. Ah, favorite sound in the world. But it's interesting to not have a bomb count. Instead, we just have to fill up the bar again before we can use our bomb again. Sorry that I'm being quiet while listening to vision heads. And it's over. Yeah, playing as Gaiden will tickle my nostalgia bones. Move right as it shot. Again. Well, definitely don't have a way to counter bursts with this ship. Shields. Goodbye, big fish. Hello, big fish. Mud whale. Mud gone. And one more boss, I think. Phantom Castle. I don't think we've met you before. Big. I mean, it's called a castle, so it isn't too surprising that it's big. Glad you didn't hit me with all that. Huh? There was a fish inside my fish. I guess it's a puffer fish. And the big version was kind of to signify it being blown up. This is some weird stuff going on here. Well, it has stopped going on. Spoilers, I enjoy playing as Gaiden. But it's probably not the best thing to buy and power up, considering it is something that has no way to burst at all. $14? Marataki? 14? Now I know why they bothered to put the hex count down there, or the zone count down there in numbers, because you cannot show 14. This is gonna be a long one. We don't get anything for preset, and all power up drops. This is just gonna be a game. Also, don't start with any shield, so give me your shield. Kinda sad I didn't get that bomb upgrade. Because I can really use all the upgrades I can get, considering we start with nothing. Hello again, Iron Fossil. Probably shouldn't have used up my... Well, no, it's recharging quick enough. You are too low again for countering reasons, right? Not that it mattered. No, I think we did counter, but we didn't manage to stay in the beam.
Meditation.
But yes, this is our friend again. Why does this little friend have to do all the big things? I really don't like this thing. And now there's two of them. Black's getting too close. Here comes Hyperjaw. I forget if Hyperjaw has a burst. No, it has this weird thing. See you some other time, Hyperjaw.
Meditation.
Hit me. Didn't enjoy that. Oh, I can't switch sides while posting. I mean, I'm glad we had practice for most of these bosses last time. Not that I'm not gonna mess them up, despite that. Yeah, this 14 stage thing would be a lot harder without the practice. Like if they threw me into this first and then the boss rush, I think I'd have been more scared. Doesn't mean I'm not scared though. I got obliterated. Oh wow, this was the wrong way to do this. This is gonna be a difficult one. I'll give it one more try today. Because we have been playing for a while already. Especially with the website visit at the start. Definitely very important to get as many power-ups as possible then. I'm just hoping it doesn't end with 1,000 bullets again. Because I think that would be the worst, even though we're probably more powerful than we were last time we fought it at the end of all this. No, did not get the power one. I hate you guys so much. Oh, you are still around. Part of me wants to restart. What's the tell for its tongue attack? Like, when does it use it? now when it goes down and does a whip animation.
Meditation.
Guess last time we had to learn bosses. Now it's time to learn stages. Because it's a lot easier to just get hit a lot during stages. For no reason. Why does this not work right now? Guess I wasn't powerful enough. Guess we can get anyone but formula at this point. So we should start thinking about who we want. And this is a good stage to do that because we start with nothing anyways. I mean, I said I'd like next. Next is also... But it's not that cheap. Okay, it's not... Okay, it can get very expensive if you want to be that way. I'm glad to know that I can do this if I so wish. Oh, it's also the cheapest to put shields into things. Now, are those points I put into shield and powers permanent or just for this one mission? That's something I want to know right now. Because I feel with how cheap they are, there is a chance that those are a thing you need to buy every time. Which, fair enough. Oh yeah, next has no, next does not have the laser you can just put down. But it has the laser that only fires as long as you press the button. Actually, I should try the other button. Yeah, no, it has the one that you can just put down. And then fires almost indefinitely. I stopped it myself there. Now an important test will be how easy is it to counter with. I guess we'll find out not during this fight, because he didn't get to fire his thing. Because the website said that Genesis was better at countering things, I think. So I'm not sure if I might not be able to move into already activated lasers with this. Or require actual timing. I will need to learn how to deal with these things. I know that standing still seems to be the worst thing I can do. Because they'll just encircle me and obliterate me. This is not great. This was not great.
Meditation.
Shield, please. Shield, please. Shield me, please. Well, here's someone where we might find out if we can counter bursts easily. But also, I don't need to care about the laser as much. Well, you did not find out, because I'm bad at playing. Text we haven't seen in forever.
Meditation.
Well, I'm dead again, but... know that there was... shield upgrades in here somewhere, but... good luck. Well, new record. And then things just shoot at me forever. And I'm dead. Okay, this was a test. Let's see if it remembered the things I put into it. It did. Okay, so these things are remembered. Oh, no, they are not remembered. I need to pay them each time. It just remembers the last loadout I used. Not necessarily bad though. So if we ever get super stuck, we can essentially cheat. That's good to know for the future. That's enough tries for today on this level 14 Narataki though. Level 14? 14 level Narataki. Next time. Let's try again. We got to 12 out of 18. I can see it. I can see it. It's written there. Beside the dot. No, actually. That's not correct. That's not what that means. There isn't 18 hexagons here. No. We completed 12 out of 18 stages that are currently unlocked, I think. This is gonna be a challenge. Maybe we're not gonna do it yet. I'll think about this. See you next time.